Shalom, assalamu alaikum, etc., etc. So, 25. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, so, I'm not going to upload the previous video because it was a little too long. But, basically, I'm going to be giving you an overview, a simple explanation of the major beliefs of the Jewish people, kind of a tour through the laws, customs, and traditions of Judaism and the Jewish people, and an enlightening look at the challenges and hopes of Judaism in the 21st century. This is based off of the Complete Idiot's Guidebook, Understanding Judaism, because I don't want to go into everything for all you people. Just don't want to go there. And this is by Rabbi Benjamin Blech. I think that's how you pronounce it. But we just went through all this stuff in the beginning and stuff that you really don't even know. Anyways, so here's a section about somebody had to do it. Okay. Science so far only agrees with part of the first science of the Bible. Yeah, as Professor P.A.M. Dirac, Nobel laureate from Cambridge University, writes, in quote, "It seems certain that there was a definite time of creation. Yet physicists will not presume anything beyond that fact." Stephen Hawking of Cambridge University, who probably stands at the very head of his profession, says quite simply, the actual point of creation lies outside the scope of presently known laws of physics. And where physics stares... What the heck? Yes, sorry. And where physics dares not tread, faith demands to be heard. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Creation without a creator didn't make sense to Abraham. If you call that a belief, you can't prove. Judaism says that is the opposite view. There is no creator, and everything just happened by itself. Is also a belief you can't prove. But one that is far more improbable, one of those far more improbable and illogical. There's an apocryphal? I don't know. There's a story about Maimonides from 1135 to 1204. The great Jewish philosopher, physician, and rabbi that powerfully makes this point. Maimonides tried to convince an atheist that there had to be a God who created the world. When hours of debate proved unsuccessful, the non-believer excused himself for a few moments to take care of some personal business. When he returned, Maimonides took out a parchment on which was written a beautiful poem with perfect rhyme and meter, expressing brilliant ideas. "No strange thing happened while you were out of the room," Maimonides said to the guest. "The ink happened to spill over on my desk, and, as it blotted, it created these words by accident." The man laughed and asked Maimonides why they wanted him to believe such foolish impossibility. "Why do you reject what I'm telling you?" Maimonides asked. "Because," the man answered, "these words are so carefully thought out with such great sense and meaning, obviously had to be composed by someone with great intelligence. They didn't appear here by accident. Somebody had to do it." "Let your own ears hear what your mouth has said," Maimonides answered. "If you can't believe that a simple poem could have come into being by a quirk of fate, then how come much more of the entire universe, whose wisdom encompasses so much more than these few words, and whose profundity surpasses all human understanding?" That's why science isn't really in conflict with religion. The more that science makes us aware of the complexity of the universe, the more apparent it becomes that the intricate orchestration of atoms, of molecules, of DNA, and of chromosomes, of life, nature, and human beings can never be the result of an undirected Big Bang or an unguided accidental evolutionary development. That's what Louis Pasteur might have meant when he said, "A little science estranges men from God. Much science leads them back to him." Judaism calls Rabbeinu Shel Olam the creator of the world. The phrase not only describes what Jews believe about God, but also why they believe in him. To be an atheist is simply to refuse to acknowledge reality. It is a far greater leap of faith to believe that a poem wrote itself by accident than to accept an intelligent first cause responsible for a brilliantly designed, structured universe. Okay, that was that little thing. Oh yes, In the this is just a little thing to add on to that. In the 1980s, when Sir Fred Hoyle, the renowned British scientist, was asked whether it was possible that, given enough time, we could see the spontaneous emergence of a single-cell organism from random couplings of chemicals, he said, "It's about as likely as the assemblage of a 747 by a tornado whirling through a junkyard." I didn't know that. Just one. It isn't enough to believe that God created the world. Judaism insists that for this to have meaning, you also have to accept that He did it alone. To believe in many gods is almost as meaningless as believing in none. Hero Israel, quotes, reads the most important line of the Shema, the Jewish prayer repeated by every observant Jew twice a day, morning and night. The Lord is our God, the Lord is our one. Monotheism, the rejection of many gods in favor of a belief in the existence of only one, was a logical consequence of Abraham's recognition of God as the first cause and the creator of the world. I think we have enough time to read this. False gods. The Midrash again gives us more profound insight to the truth by way of a story. Abraham's father, Terach, as tradition knows it, owned by a thriving business selling idols. He was extremely successful, who knows, maybe like McDonald's. He had a huge billboard proclaiming over 1 million gods sold, with the numbers changing from month to month, and he hoped someday to pass the corporation over to his son. To teach him the business, Terach allowed Abraham to run the store all by himself one day. Picture his shock upon his return the next day. He found all the idols in the shop smashed in pieces. "Who broke the idols?" he screamed in anger. Abraham, who had used the opportunity of his father's absence to express his contempt for these false gods, he had taken the precaution of leaving one large idol standing in whose carved hands he placed an axe. "While you were gone," Abraham told his father, "a terrible thing happened. The large idol got angry at all the others and destroyed them." Furiously, Terach rejected the explanation. "How dare you tell me something so stupid? That's just an idol. He couldn't possibly do anything." What a great opening for Abraham to reply. "But if idols can't do anything, why should we worship them?" The Midrash was meant to be much more than a story. It speaks as a metaphor. It marks Abraham as the man who had the courage to break with the paganism not only of his age, but also of his own ancestors. His courage came from his conviction that idols were powerless, not only because their statues or carvings made of metal and wood, but because their multiplicity, they clearly aren't the one creator of the universe. Many gods, Abraham reasoned, would naturally fight each other. Everyone would try to protect his own turf. Large ones would pick on the smaller ones. Paganism could only produce conflict. Pagan gods, by definition, could not be all-powerful because there were other gods alongside or in opposition to them. So the world is a harmonious whole. Its parts are not at war with each other. Its functions as one. So, Hero Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is our one. There you go. That kind of gave you a little taste there, and I'll be back with another video. Yep.